mass media is totally controlled by hidden government. When I was talking about this Illuminati or Freemasons sort of hidden government or shadow government thing, so America itself want to go back to the time of George Washington time. So just a tabloid, you see, the newspaper like that. They're the people trying to tell the truth, and I can introduce you to this press. And I went together with him. In the basement, I found reducing the human being, the population of the human being, maybe to the half or so by the time of 2000.
This was a written statement. A written
yes,
statement.
Written
Yeah, sure.
statement.
It's actually crafted, even crafted on a stone.
Yeah, AIDS and all these diseases, you see, who
was created,
which institution created. And the Japanese population is too big, maybe to reduce half, you see. And all of this, I saw the document.
On the surface, everything's deceptively normal, but from what I've seen in the last 5 days or so since arriving in Japan, it's not in Japanese culture to panic, not to run around in a furious panic. Instead, there's a bubbling undercurrent of anxiety and fear, and it's a different kind of fear now. But just this morning, I've spoken to a young Japanese couple with just a 10-day-old newly born boy. And they were actually from Sendai, and they were in Sendai when the earthquake struck. They haven't been able to move until now because the mother was too weak. But now they're heading for Tokyo as fast as they can. And this is just another more evidence of people who don't trust the government, don't trust the advice that the radiation isn't spreading into a greater area outside Fukushima.
This queue of people is a kilometre long. They're trying to stockpile what food is left in Sendai. Most shelves are empty now. The people here are getting ready to hide, fearing an invisible killer, radiation. Explosions at the Fukushima Daiichi power plant put the country on the cusp of nuclear meltdown. One damaged a reactor's outer casing, and the final 2 reactors have now lost cooling capability too. Radiation levels peaked near the plant at 400 times the amount normally absorbed in a year. There are fears it'll spread across the country.
It's the same information and footage being broadcast on every channel. You have just to guess many things, look for them in other places. You can't get them in the Japanese sources. There's some very strict censorship which doesn't let us understand the true picture, and that's not helping.
While residents prepare to go to ground, foreign news crews are fleeing. This team from New Zealand is heading for Niigata Airport, but flights from there to Osaka and Tokyo are already fully booked for the next 2 days. The exodus has begun.
Here on the west coast, Niigata Airport has already closed for the night, and it won't open for another 8 hours, but people are already turning up to try and get on the next available flight out of the country, such is their desperation to escape.
We have to wait until morning to get the next flight to Khabarovsk. We have to wait outside, but we will because we want to escape the radiation.
Some, though, have nowhere to run to. This was once a village. Those who lived here are returning to find there's simply nothing left. The devastation just goes on and on. More than 500,000 people have been left homeless, their belongings swallowed up and spat out by the tsunami. Relief workers are searching for survivors all along Japan's ravaged coast, what's now a sea of debris. 15,000 have already been rescued, but over 7,000 are still missing, and some parts haven't even been reached yet. Over 2,500 relief centres are still packed and will be for several weeks. It's cold and uncomfortable, but this is one of the few places these people can get food and shelter. Huge parts of the country have been completely wiped out, but the threat of nuclear meltdown means there could still be more to come.
sacrificed any kind of long life by being there. This is clearly an exposure that jeopardizes their immediate health, and actually there is concern for people who come in contact with them after coming out of this catastrophe.
Just very briefly.
Regarding weather modification, and this is a government file, and it actually explains from beginning to end how all weather is modified by the government, that all these events that are going on in Australia and all these floods and earthquakes have actually been controlled with Tesla technology that was found out.
All right, Julia Borston, thanks so much. Let's take a look at the markets right now as we get close to the top of the hour here. You can see the Dow is trading in positive territory. It's up, a little more than 0.1%, but still in positive territory, 0.3% for the Nasdaq. And look at the S&P bouncing back. It's up about 0.4%. All in all, the market taking this in stride.
I mean, the human toll here looks to be much worse than the economic toll, and we can be grateful for that. And the human toll is a tragedy. We know that. But these markets are, all these markets, right? Stocks, commodities, oil, gold. There is no major breakout or breakdown.
As the traders told us, oil is very much a part of this today because oil is moving lower. They feel as though this is good news for the U.S. economy. So
the human toll here looks to be much worse than the economic toll, and we can be grateful for that. The human toll here looks to be much worse than the economic toll, and we can be grateful for that. The human toll here looks to be much worse than the economic toll, and we can be grateful for that. The human toll here looks to be much worse than the economic toll, and we can be grateful for that.